Hey, and welcome to my channel. My name is Haley, and we're just gonna go ahead and get started in what I spent in the month of August. I am really starting to track my money a little bit better, and I want to create a budget. So first things first is I needed to go back and see everything that I spent in the month of August to then better be able to create a budget for the future months. So I'm gonna go ahead and start recording on my screen. All right, and so if you see here, the first thing I have is our mortgage payment. So my fiance and I own a house together, and we split things kind of like 66-33 because he does make more money than I do. So my mortgage payment is $900, so that's gonna stay the same every single month. And then right below that, I also have monthly subscriptions, so that are also constants. Those are not changing unless I do decide to get rid of one of them, but I don't have too many. I just have One Life, which is a local gym. I have a Busch Gardens like yearly membership that I pay for every month. Spotify. Go Climate is where I offset my carbon footprint every month, so I'm definitely going to keep that. I do like having that. And then just a small charge for Roku. It's about $80 a month, which isn't bad. I do want to mention that I don't have any bills like water or electricity or anything like that, because the way James and I like to split things up is so he pays for those monthly bills, and then I do all of the grocery shopping and home shopping. And so that's just how we personally like to split it up. So then if I go right below that, we have grocery shopping. I don't know. I feel like this was pretty good, pretty average. Kind of just changes a little bit. Sometimes I'll go and get things just for the night, or sometimes I do typically like to go once a week, but I obviously went more than once a week in the month of August. But $544 for groceries for two people I think is pretty reasonable. I like that. And if we go down to gas and car, so I do include my car payment in here, which could also be considered a monthly payment, but that's $150. So that's gonna stay the same every month. I'm hoping to pay this off a little early in December, but it will be completely paid off by August of next year. So looking forward to that. And then everything else here is pretty normal, just going to the gas station and getting gas. I did get an oil change this time, and that had like a small parking pass that I paid for, which I definitely don't have every month. In Virginia Beach and Hampton Roads in general, most parking is free. Typically just in Norfolk is where you run into like having to pay for parking. Even though I do think I think this $4 of parking was actually in Virginia Beach at the oceanfront, which is also typical not to pay for parking there. Okay, so next we have eating out, and so this is definitely one of the sections that I want to decrease in the future. As you can see, I eat out a lot. To be fair, a lot of it is during work. I work in like Virginia Beach's town center, and so we just have so many restaurants there, and everyone at work knows that it is not hard to get me to go out to eat, even if I brought a meal that day. So yeah, definitely just wanting to take that down a little bit, but I also do enjoy going out to eat with my girlfriends and my boyfriend, and all that kind of stuff. So this is definitely not going to go down to zero by any means. I mostly just want to cut back on going out to eat at work. And then sometimes too, some of these things, like I know I did split crumble cookie with one of my other coworkers, and we got it for our entire team just as like a nice little treat. Yeah. All right, and then next we have ice skating, which this varies a little bit every month, but I do typically like to go at least once a week, and if I go and my coach is there, that is gonna be about $40. I pay for, at the main rink that I go to, you buy like ice skating credits online first, and I'll typically buy 100 credits, and to skate for an hour, I think that's about 12 credits, so I don't have to buy these credits every single month, but I do have to buy them every like 2 months, kind of. So I did not have to purchase that in the month of August. I think I purchased it at the end of July, so I'll probably be getting another one of those, and I think they just changed their prices. It's anywhere between like $80 and $100 for that. So I'll probably have to pay for that again next month, but I only saw my coach 3 times this month, so that was $130. Again, that's not gonna change much. It's probably gonna be more for most months, but I'm fine with that. All right, and then we have wedding expenses, which is definitely different every single month. This month I have just been scouring Facebook Marketplace, and so I got these 96, I think, gold votive candle holders and the candles included for $75, which I thought was pretty worth it. Very excited for those. But every month it's going to be a little different. Again, with the wedding, James and I are kind of splitting things 66-33, and we have booked the venue, the caterer, and the photographer so far. So we have a lot of the big expenses booked, and we've paid for a good chunk of those already, but we do still need to get the DJ and the day of coordinator. And so the months that we do actually book those and put down deposits, the wedding expenses is going to go up. Not too much I can do with that. Okay. And then probably the second category that I want to decrease for the remaining months of this year and going into next year is going to be my shopping and well-being. I don't know, just group them together because shopping is obviously just like Amazon and getting books. I typically buy books and clothes every month. That's like my two main like guilty pleasures. But I also included in here like nails, and I like getting a facial, and James and I went to Cinema Cafe to watch movies, so I kind of just lumped those all together. I would definitely say $802 is a little bit high just because I did buy this new camera. I bought it used off of Facebook Marketplace, but it was $300. So let's just keep that in mind. And then the last category I have down here is going to be our miscellaneous. And so honestly, this category is kind of just the things that you can't really plan for. So for instance, we have a new kitten and we needed to take him to his new kitten vet appointment, and that ended up being almost $330 because he had ringworm, which we had to get treated and get a bunch of prescriptions for. We had to get his vaccines and run all of his tests, and so sorry if you can hear them, by the way, they are being feisty. But yeah, so something that is important that needs to get done, but I can't really plan for. I also needed to pay, I want to say it was probably my state taxes. I thought that I had paid those back in May, but I guess not. So that was $242. And then I did send an application to grad school, which was $50, which I think at the beginning of the month I didn't realize I was going to be doing that. So I also put that into miscellaneous. So $620 for things that I couldn't really plan for, but were important and needed to get done. I think this category I can try and budget, but honestly it's just going to be whatever pops up that month, so it's going to be a little harder to control this category. But overall I spent just under $4,000, which I would assume is probably going to be pretty typical, but we will see now that I'm actually tracking everything that I'm spending every month. And so I also broke it down into a pie chart. And so my mortgage being one of the biggest categories is kind of like how I want it to be. Definitely would like this miscellaneous and shopping and well-being to be way less than 15% and 20%. Again, you know, wedding expenses is definitely going to vary each month up until our wedding is in May of next year. So ice skating is going to stay the same. Eating out is actually surprisingly not as high as I thought it was going to be, but I would still like to get that percentage down just a little bit. And then we have gas and car, which I think typically will be less than that because I'm not getting an oil change every single month. Grocery shopping, probably going to stay the same. And then monthly subscriptions, definitely not that bad. All right. Could have been worse. I was a little scared to do this. So honestly, this is a little better than I was anticipating, but let's see. So I did make this budget tab. And so, yeah, so on this budget, yeah, I have all of the categories, what I want the budget to be, and then how that is different from what I spent in the month of August. So I have mortgage and monthly subscriptions staying the same, so 0%. I have grocery shopping. I want to aim for about $500, which is 8% less than what I spent in August. Gas and car I have at about 25% less, just since I know I'm not getting an oil change every single month. Eating out is kind of a big one. That's 44% less than what I did last month, so we're gonna see how that goes. I am filming this August 4th, August 5th, and I do know that on like the 3rd of this month I spent $100 on lunch for my cousin and her husband because they just had a baby. So I don't know if I'm gonna include that in the eating out or not, because I feel like that was just a special circumstance. But anyways, we'll see what next month holds. Ice skating, I have it about $160. Wedding expenses, I just threw $100 on there. I think I might book the day of coordinator this month though, so that is probably gonna go up if I have to do a deposit. And then shopping and well-being is definitely the biggest decrease, at aiming for like $250, and so that's a negative almost 70%. And then with that total being closer to $2,700, which is about 34% less than I spent last month. So overall, I feel like this is realistic, but we're just gonna see what happens this month. But yeah, so that's gonna be it for what I spent in the month of August. Let me know down below if you have any questions. Again, I think I've said this in a lot of previous videos, but I do work as a civil engineer in consulting. My fiance works in the tech industry, so we do have decent incomes, and then we do own our house, which is helpful. But yeah, thank you guys for joining, and I'll see you next time.